Let me now open this up to my guests who are joining me this evening. Sharad Trivedi of the Uttar Pradesh BJP is with us on the broadcast. Also with us is AIMIM leader Danish Qureshi, and Desh Ratan Nigam, who is an advocate and a political analyst, is also with us. And also with us is Shahid Ali, who is the president of United Muslims Front. Now, let me actually begin with you, Mr. Trivedi. The claim that has been made by the Muslim petitioners is that since the matter is sub judice, why did the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister go ahead and speak about it, and that too just claim or probably go ahead and talk to the Muslim petitioners and make it a one-sided claim?
Now, whatever the Chief Minister said has nothing to do with either the court judgment or the court proceedings. What he has said that anybody who can see the basic structure of the place is of a temple, and all the Hindu deities are there. Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Shiv is there, Parvati is there, Nandi is there, Trishul is there, swastik is there, Om is written there. So all these symbols have nothing to do with Islam. It's a totally temple premises, and we have got a confessional statement of the most secular person who was ever born, Aurangzeb himself. He had issued a fatwa in 1669 that all temples and schools of all the heretics or the kafirs have to be destroyed and all their religious practices have to be crushed. And on 2nd September 1669, the report was brought to his court that the temple has already been destroyed. So it's absolutely clear, and what Yogi ji has said is that the initiative should come from the Muslims. What he has said that this matter should be solved out of court, as Supreme Court itself said in the Ram Mandir issue, that they give about 4 years time for both the parties to sit around, discuss, decide, and amicably the matter should be solved. There's nothing wrong with it.
Mr. Trivedi, you just mentioned the Aurangzeb aspect. Isn't it selective reading of history? While Aurangzeb did go ahead and probably demolish a lot of Hindu structures to build mosques, as is being claimed through a series of these petitions also, there were also aspects of him building Hindu temples in his regime. What about that?
I am a history student. There is not a single incident in which Aurangzeb had rebuilt a structure at all. This is all fake narrative that has been brought. If any evidence, I have not seen it, and let them come out with it. There's not a single instance in which a temple was reconstructed by him. In fact, 400 soldiers were sent to Ujjain to destroy every temple there. And Amber, which was a friend of the Mughals, they destroyed the temples, 175 temples in Amber. So this has been a
constructed and reconstructed. Don't you think there is a slight difference with the nitpicking that you're doing? But let me actually bring in Mr. Danish Qureshi here. Mr. Qureshi, are you satisfied with the argument that the BJP has made on the statements that have now come by the way of the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister speaking about how the Muslim side needs to send out a proposal and just stay back?
I think two things are very clear. Today, we are talking about the spokesperson of BJP is a different thing, and the state chief minister of the state is a different thing. The statement of Mr. Yogi Adityanath is that कि भाई उन्होंने जो शब्दों का प्रयोग किया है कि अगर इस तरीके का मामला होगा तो ये और विवाद बढ़ेगा. This is very problematic. चीफ मिनिस्टर को इस तरीके की भाषा का जो प्रयोग है, जो आप देखिए कि कहीं ना कहीं व्यक्तिगत तौर पे मुझे ये लग रहा है कि क्यों आप ऐसी भाषा का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं. ही इज द चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ द स्टेट ऑफ उत्तर प्रदेश, एंड जब दो पक्ष जब कानूनी एतबार से लड़ाई कर रहे हैं, ऐसी परिस्थिति में आप कानूनी एतबार से जब पूरा मामला चल रहा है और दोनों पक्षों का रिलीजियस मामला है, देखिए कोई प्रॉपर्टी का रिलेटेड मसला नहीं है कि आपका प्रॉपर्टी ले लिया, मेरा ले लिया, ये रिलीजियस मामला है. ऐसे मौके पे जब मामला कोर्ट के अधीन है, उस वक्त पे अगर मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पर योगी आदित्यनाथ का स्टेटमेंट है, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये डेमोक्रेसी के ऊपर इस तरीके का सवालिया निशान लगा रहे हैं योगी आदित्यनाथ जी.
Desh Ratan Nigam, the argument that also came to light was that the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh is speaking as the Chief Minister of Hindus only and not the Muslim petitioners, because he singled out the Muslim petitioners. And then there was also reference that was made to his 2015 speech where he was not the state chief minister, where he has said that if given a choice, he would go ahead and install Gauri and Ganesh images in every mosque. While that has been slightly diluted, why make such a statement at the time when the matter is still being looked at by the courts?
Priya, in fact, nobody can silence the voice of the stones. Even if there is any chief minister who does not want to speak on the subject, the stones will speak for themselves. And the chief minister has only reiterated what is there on the stones. And he is given the fact during Ram Mandir, when the matter was sub judice, both the sides made claims and counterclaims. I was quite involved in it. And therefore, to say that a matter is sub judice, nobody should speak on it, especially even a blind man can see the Hindu symbols and all shivlings and trishul out there. To say that one should not speak about it, no, he clearly said the initiative must come from Muslims to solve this and recognize there is a mistake. This is a kind of a battle between truth and untruth. Somebody do not want the truth to come out. The other side wants the truth to come out, and therefore scientific survey. And why should you have an objection to a scientific survey which is believable? And therefore, in fact, I would say Hindus have climbed down. Despite so many symbols and even a blind man can look into it, they're still saying, let us have a scientific survey and to establish all the points. Therefore, today, and under the Islamic law, it is well established today from Islamic records and otherwise also from Hindu and British records that it was a temple destroyed by Aurangzeb. And under the Islam, it is not a mosque. Please understand, clearly says you can't occupy forcibly some place, and that is what the Islamic scholars or your panelists try to hide. It just cannot be a mosque under the Islamic law. You can't grab it. It has to be a valid and legal, possession. That it is not. And demolition of that particular temple is clearly a historical mistake, which the community, especially not the entire community, few who are doing politics or the Intizamiya committee, management committee of the mosque, have to recognize this, that the historical mistake. And see, initially the Hindus were asking for 3 places.
Yeah.
Krishna Janmabhoomi, Kashi and Ram Mandir. And we were not saying anything else. And still, some of the people, their politicians, were hell-bent not to give those places because it is same as taking away Makkah and Medina from them, from the Muslims. They do not realize how important these places are, especially established when they were taken over. Because I'm quite involved in the Krishna Janmabhoomi also and was also involved in Ram Janmabhoomi. So I know the historical facts, even Kashi Vishwanath. Yeah. There are historical facts, nobody's denying, but everybody's saying Places of Worship Act. Forgetting that in the Places of Worship Act, an exception itself has been carved out for historical and ancient monuments, which is not covered by Places of Worship Act. There is another act of 1958. So they forget about it. Selective reading of the act is also not permissible, even under the very same act of Places of Worship Act, to determine the nature of the place is not prohibited. Supreme Court has made it very clear. So let us first establish the truth and then we can sit across the table. Nobody wants the truth to come out, despite the fact it is visible all around.
Okay. Shahid